Today, I'm looking at travel rigs for voice recording and comparing cost and convenience against performance. This is a professional setup: a Sennheiser 416, a USB-powered interface, laptop, headphones, and cables. Depending on the laptop, it costs $2,000 to $5,000, and it fills a small carry-on bag. The input you're hearing right now is the desperation move of travel recording, an iPhone internal microphone. And this is what I'm looking at today. It's a travel setup based around a small shotgun video mic. Depending on headphones, this could cost $200 to $500. It's small and lightweight. Without the included shock mount, you could slip it in a jacket pocket and forget it's there until you need it. Now this one is the Rode VideoMic Go 2. Signal and power go through its 1/8 inch TRS jack or its USB-C port, so there are no batteries. It's cheap, super easy to carry, but I want to find out if it sounds good enough to use as a travel rig. This is what I'll be reading. It's a wonderful book for bedtime if you have little kids. And here in the studio, the 416 is going to go into an Apogee Symphony desktop. Outside, it'll go into the Audient ID4. And the video mic will always be going directly into the computer by USB. So let's get going. The news just came in from the county of Keck that a very small bug by the name of Van Vleck is yawning so wide you can look down his neck. This may not seem very important, I know, but it is, so I'm bothering telling you so. A yawn is quite catching, you see, like a cough. It just takes one yawn to start other yawns off. Now the news has come in that some friends of Van Vleck's are yawning so wide you can look down their necks. At this moment, right now, under 7 more noses, great yawns are in blossom. They're blooming like roses. The yawn of that one little bug is still spreading. According to latest reports, it is heading across the wide fields, through the sleepy night air, across the whole country, toward every which-where. And people are gradually starting to say, I feel rather drowsy. I've had quite a day. Creatures are starting to think about rest. 2 Bifferbaum birds are now building their nest. They do it each night, and quite often I wonder how they do this big job without making a blunder. But that is their problem, not yours and not mine. The point is, they're going to bed, and that's fine. Sleep thoughts are spreading throughout the whole land. The time for night brushing of teeth is at hand. Up at Herkheimer Falls, where the great river rushes and crashes down crags in great gargling gushes, the Herkheimer sisters are using their brushes. Those falls are just grand for toothbrushing beneath, if you happen to be up that way with your teeth. The news just came in from the castle of Krupp that the lights are all out and the drawbridge is up. And the old drawbridge drawer just said with a yawn, My drawbridge is drawn, and it's going to stay drawn till the milkman delivers the milk about dawn. I'm going to bed now, so nobody better come round with a special delivery letter. The number of sleepers is steadily growing. Bed is where more and more people are going. In Culpeper Springs, in the Stiltwalkers' Hall, The stilt walker's stilts are all stacked on the wall. The stilt walkers have called it a day. They're all tuckered out, and they're snoozing away. This is very big news. It's important to know. And that's why I'm bothering telling you so. Way out in the west, in the town of Merced, the Hinklehorn Honking Club just went to bed. Every horn has been quietly hung on a hook for the night in its own private Hinklehorn nook. All this long, happy day they've been honking about, and the Hinklehorn honkers have honked themselves out. But they'll wake up quite fresh in the morning, and then they'll start right in Hinklehorn honking again. Here's a short section of audio inside my pillow fort with a few little background noises, little mechanical whirs here and there, some stomping going on in the background, just so we can hear what the sound rejection and the room tone is like. Everywhere, creatures are falling asleep. The collapsible frink just collapsed in a heap, and by adding the frink to the others before, I am able to give you the Who's Asleep score. Right now, 40,404 creatures are happily, deeply in slumber. I think you'll agree that's a whopping fine number. Counting up sleepers? Just how do we do it? Really quite simple. There's nothing much to it. We find out how many, we learn the amount by an audio-teleo-talio count. On a mountain halfway between Reno and Rome, we have a machine in a plexiglass dome which listens and looks into everyone's home. And whenever it sees a new sleeper go flop, it jiggles and lets a new biggle ball drop. Our chap counts these balls as they plop in a cup, and that's how we know who is down and who's up. Do you talk in your sleep? It's a wonderful sport, and I have some news of this sport to report. The world champion sleep talkers, Joe and Mo Redzoff, have just gone to sleep, and they're talking their heads off. For 55 years now, each chattering brother has babbled and gabbled each night to the other. They've talked about laws, and they've talked about gauze. They've talked about paws, and they've talked about flaws. They've talked quite a lot about old Santa Claus. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you should take up this sport. It's just fine for the jaws. Do you walk in your sleep? I just had a report of some interesting news of this popular sport. Near Finnegan Fen, there's a sleepwalking group, which not only walks, but it walks a la hoop. Every night they go miles. Why, they walk to such length, they have to keep eating to keep up their strength. So every so often one puts down his hoop, stops hooping, and does some quick snooping for soup. That's why they are known as the Hoop Soup Snoop Group. Okay, so we had 2 tests in a controlled environment in the studio and 2 tests in a wild environment. And what I'm not surprised by is that the $1,000 mic sounded better than the $100 mic. It had a richer, fuller, more present sound. And it also rejected plosives a lot better. Now, you could potentially address that with the little foamy thing that comes with the Rode, or maybe just better mic positioning than I was using. What I was surprised by was that this seemed to have some pretty darn good bones. I wouldn't necessarily use it as it was, but I'm really interested to see what a skilled engineer can do with this sound, and that's something I'm working on, and I will present when I have it. So there you have it. Let me know what you thought of my methodology, of the results of the VideoMic. Just keep in mind that all the audio you're hearing is completely raw. I wanted you to be able to compare the microphones as they are, not as they might be. So maybe apply some EQ in a future video. If you want to hear what the VideoMic sounds like on your own voice, and you're going to be at VO Atlanta, I'll be there too. I'll have it with me. So look me up and give it a try. Until then, hope you have a great week. Bye.